What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are going to be talking about a pretty controversial topic. You may have read the title and been like, I wonder where Brandon's gonna take this one. Well, buckle up because it is an interesting topic, but something that definitely needs to be discussed and something that I think can help a lot of you guys out, something that I wish that I knew a lot earlier. And that is, you need to learn to control or be controlled. Okay, now what I will start off by saying is that if you were born a man, you were born a leader. A lot of people like to say, oh, I wasn't put in a position of leadership. I wasn't born to be a leader. If you were born a man, if you're watching this video, chances you are a man, you were also born to be a leader. And so you ultimately have a duty and a calling to help others, because that's ultimately what you're called to do as a leader. You're supposed to help others along the journey. You're supposed to guide others, all right? In our current society, leadership is highly demonized. Well, why would it be demonized? Well, it's because most people don't use leadership the correct way. Most people are fallen. Most people are evil. Most people make mistakes. But that has led to an incredible demonization of leadership. And this ties very closely into how masculinity is ultimately demonized in our society. All right? And what I want you to understand is that being a leader is actually a very, very sacrificial position to be in at the end of the day. In fact, like if you're a leader, you have to sacrifice a lot more than someone that is, say, a follower. For example, I honestly don't really feel like making this video right now. Making one YouTube video every single day, a lot of days I wake up and I just don't feel like making the video that day. Yet I am going to continue to act not according to how I feel, but according to what I have said that I am going to do. So leadership is incredibly hard, all right? You have a duty. You have a duty to put in work. Leadership is not easy. What is easy? What is the easy route? The easy route is being passive. It's the first sin of man in the garden. He was passive. He did not kill the snake that was tempting his wife. Control and manipulation are something that is ultimately also demonized along with leadership. So when I say learn to control or be controlled, you may say, well, Brandon, I don't want to control anybody. Let's read the first definitions of both control and manipulate. All right, the first definition of manipulate is to handle or control in a skillful manner. All right, to handle or control in a skillful manner. And your job as a leader is ultimately to be able to handle people in a skillful manner. All right, according to the individual. All right, the definition of control. Have the power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events. Okay, so not inherently bad definitions. And yet these are two words that are very, very commonly associated with mischief, with trying to deceive. And I want you to understand that as a man, you have a duty to better your understanding of how humans operate so that you can ultimately control others. All right? Now, you may also say, Brandon, this sounds dark. This is something that I really don't want to be involved in. And I want you to understand that it is dark. Like, this is a very heavy responsibility. But once again, this is a duty that you have. You have the duty as a man to understand how other people work and how you can go about leading them. As Spider-Man said, with great power comes great responsibility. In fact, I think Uncle Ben originally said that to Spider-Man when he first got his powers. It's very, very true. It's a dark thing, and it can be scary when you first kind of understand that this is a part of your calling as a man. But don't be too intimidated, because if you're watching this video, ultimately you are going out of your way in order to educate yourself, understand how people operate, and better become a leader to lead those that you need to lead in the best way that you possibly can. So you probably already have something going for you. Now, I really want you to understand that with all of this, the heart is ultimately what matters. There is so much power in control and manipulation, and some people are always going to use it for good, and some people are always going to use it for evil. You cannot have a broken moral framework, a broken moral compass as a man, which is why I implore to absolutely every single person in any sort of leadership that they should not be atheist. They should not be agnostic, because at the end of the day, they struggle to understand why right is right and why wrong is wrong. They don't understand that there is a God above that is giving us our moral framework. They can't explain why something is right, why something is wrong. So it's imperative that you have an incredibly strong foundation. And the reason, something that kind of inspired me to make this video, is a book called 48 Laws of Power. I read this book a couple of years ago, and it's very, very important. I think that every single man should go out of their way to read this book by Robert Greene. Ultimately, what it is it's a strategy guide. It talks a lot about history in it. It talks about different situations and how people used specific tactics in order to control and manipulate governments, armies, women, mass amounts of people. How people are able to influence, how people are able to control. And ultimately what it does is it helps you understand how to control humans. This book, when you read it, it does feel dark. It has that same sort of dark aura. But what you have to understand is that the author definitely leans into it. He tries to make it feel a little bit more edgy. He tries to make it feel a little bit more scary. But I think that he does that with a purpose, because he ultimately understands that this is not something that you should just mess around with. This isn't the type of thing that you should know if you are somebody who intends to use it for evil. He wants everybody to understand that there is an intense moral connection to your leadership, and that your heart needs to be in the right place, or things can go seriously awry. All right? Now, what this book does is it helps you understand two very, very important things. Number one, how others may try to control you, and number two, how you can ultimately control others. Now, you might say this, well, Brandon, I don't want to play the game of power. All right? This doesn't sound interesting to me. I don't want to do it. If you are in that situation, what you have to understand is that by saying no, I will not seek further education, I will not seek to understand this truth of my reality, you will be hurt. And you will be the one that will be used. You will be the one that will be manipulated. Your responsibility as a man and as the head of a household is to protect, to care for, and to provide. And if you are going to do those things sufficiently, these are things that you need to understand. You need to be a leader. You don't have to be a leader of men, of armies, of nations, but you have to be a leader for your family as best as you possibly can. It's part of your calling. You need to have pure intentions. That is why it is so important that you guard your heart every single day. I really recommend that every single one of you read the Old Testament. What you see in these stories in the Old Testament is that power is incredibly dangerous. Desire for women is incredibly dangerous. That's why I'm always talking about controlling lust, desexualizing your brain. What you have to understand is that money is something that can cause you to fall. Every single one of these leaders in the Old Testament, Moses, David, Saul, Solomon, every single one of them had their struggles with this, because authority and power and leadership is a sacrifice, and it is often a burden. Like Moses, for example, he had a stuttering problem. And when God came down from heaven and said, hey, Moses, lead my people out of Egypt, he said, please give this to somebody else. He said, I can't talk. It's hard for me to talk. I'm not very good at this. And God said, who made man's mouth? I am going to send you anyways. I will send you with Aaron. He shall act as your interpreter, but you are the one that I have chosen to lead my people. Even when he thought that he couldn't do it, even when he didn't even have that much belief in himself, God still utilized him. So should you, stay powerless? Should you stay weak? Should you stay broke? No. There's no virtue in that. There is no virtue in that at all. And please don't think that there is. There is no virtue in being broke, in being lazy. At the end of the day, Jesus is the perfect leader. And if you study about how proactive Jesus was, if you read about how he came to bring a sword, to separate families, to separate brother from sister, father from mother, in general, he came to ultimately divide. And the words that he said were incredibly controversial for the time. So it is up to you to be truthful and to be honest and to ultimately learn how to control people so that you can better utilize that not only in your life, but to protect and lead those around you. So I hope you guys found this video very helpful. Make sure to drop a like on the video and drop a comment down below with a singular thumbs up in there if you stayed all the way to the end of the video, so I know that you are somebody that has a great attention span and doesn't just swipe to the next video as soon as you get slightly bored. I hope what I said in this video sits with you guys well. It is one of those videos where you may have to just marinate on it a little bit, and I understand that. It is a little bit of a controversial topic, but at the same time, go read this book, The 48 Laws of Power. Understand exactly how this burden rests on you as a man. I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace.